Okay. So hello.
Hello,
The first thing is your name and where you are right now.
I am Alina Comendant, and I'm based in the Netherlands, and currently I am in my home office.
Okay. And who are you as a person, as a human being? Who is Alina?
Hmm. That's a very intriguing question. Hmm. I think that I am many things, many layers. Hmm. I just added a new layer last year by becoming an expat, a Romanian living in the Netherlands.
Hmm.
I think that I consider myself a citizen of the world,
Hmm.
and I am enjoying this part of me that can feel comfortable no matter where I go in the world. Besides that, I am a psychotherapist, a trainer, a supervisor, and if I leave a bit the professional layers, I'm a mother, a stepmother, a partner, a daughter, a friend, and I still like to discover new parts of me, uh, new ways of being Alina. For example, since I live here, I like to do gardening. This is another part of me that brings me a lot of joy.
Hmm. Okay. What would you say would be some of your most core values, your more basic values? And how could you describe how you hold them, how you support these values in your life, in your living?
Mm. I believe that at the core of my values lays commitment to learn and to grow. I think that I'm a lifetime learner. I wished as a child to be a teacher, and part of this dream became two.
Mhm.
I believe that I find in many circumstances things that I learn about myself, about the others, about the world, and sometimes it's a paradox because the more I learn, the more I deep in theories or in meeting other cultures, the more I realize that I know less.
Yeah.
I like this paradox. It's sometimes really frustrating because I take really serious my commitment to learn and to grow by knowing, but mostly by discover something that I like to call living theory, the theory that can explain things that happened in life, in real life, not only in the books.
Mhm.
So I believe that learning is making me grow, and I see that it's very difficult to stop learning. So we talked about books. I enjoy reading books. I enjoy writing about what I learn or the way how I experience this learning in private practice or clinical setting or training. And I think this learning can be done looking at my second core value, and this is security. I appreciate a secure environment, maybe in the micro level, the family environment, and then the micro, the macro, this world in which we are living, and sometimes it's safe and sometimes it's not.
Mhm.
But all the events of this year with the war and all the political changes, it's making me think more and more of how important it is to have security in our life and predictability. And I think this is one of the things that made me become an expat and to live here in Netherlands. I feel very secure here, and that we have a lot of predictability in terms of what to expect. How do we care about nature? How do we care about older people? How do we care about social care and so on? So these two are really close to my heart, to the way I am as a human being, more than a professional. And another one that it's keeping me vital, I think, is diversity. I enjoy diversity a lot. I think that I open my heart to many things that are very different than in the culture that I grew up in the last years. And diversity and mutuality and respect are the things that I keep learning and keep discovering. And I'm enjoying to live in a very diverse culture, racial, gender, etc.
What would you say would be an event or a set of circumstances that have shaped your life, that have impacted you or transformed you in a significant way? And again, how did the situation or this event impact you?
One or more.
Feel free. Go ahead.
There is one particular that I think made me who I am today, or made me choose this path of being a psychotherapist. And this event is the encounter of a teacher, of a counselor, when I was in the 7th grade. And after this encounter, after this program, I decided that I want to be a psychologist and never change my mind. So I was 14, and the respect that he brought in the class, and creativity, and the fact that we could talk about anything without judgment, without pressure, without being marked or scored. I think this is a life event that I will ever remember from my adolescence. And another one that brought me even more further into becoming a child and teenager psychotherapist is the birth of my daughter. Yeah, I think something shifted inside me, and this shift was actually an inner journey towards a very young self of mine. I started Gestalt play therapy when my daughter was 1, and I was living in England at that time. And I was in training as a transactional analysis psychotherapist. And it was a great method, and it still is a great method. I'm certified as a transactional analysis trainer and supervisor. Yet I could not imagine how can I explain to my daughter about emotions, and how can I contribute to a very healthy development. And so I found Gestalt play therapy, and I used to say a lot that I choose Gestalt play therapy for her. But if I look and if I inquire with more honestly, I think that I choose it for myself.
Mhm.
And for this part of me that needed more nurturing and more playing and more creativity, and that in the end it's looking like vitality at the end of the day, of that good energy.
Mhm.
So I think these two events shaped a lot the way I am today.
Mhm. And what about another person? If you can think about another human being that has had like a significant impact in your life.
Mm. Mm. I am thinking of my supervisors, my mentors,
Mhm.
and one of them is Felicia Carroll. She's a
Mm.
Gestalt therapist in California, and I am amazed by how kind she can be, and I think that I was surprised that she was so kind to me in
Mm.
particular. We met at a training in Poland. After I wrote to her, somebody from Romania wrote to her in the middle of the night for her, asking if she could do supervision. And after the meeting in Poland, she helped me a lot develop my practice. She sent me books, she sent me material, so she supported my development a lot. And I'm really thankful to her for more than being a mentor or a supervisor. She has this ability of staying with you while
Mm.
you're going through tough situations. And I had the feeling that this had all the time a priority in our meetings. How do I feel? How I actually am. Before working, before talking clients or cases or theories. And I also got from her the acceptance, because coming up from two different theories, although similar in many ways, but transactional analysis and Gestalt therapy are in many ways different. I felt accepted and supported to make a bridge between them, because she was all the time interested in how would you translate that into TA, and I'm really curious what is that or how you work with that. So I felt really accepted by her into this community of Gestalt play therapists.
How would you say that you experience your gender? How do you live your gender?
How do I live my gender?
How do you experience it?
I think I like being a woman. I get sometimes frustrated with some things when people are putting feminine and masculine into boxes. I mean, now I'm feeling very safe in this country, in Netherlands, to be who I am. If I want to dress in a more weird way or in my pajamas, nobody's looking at you. But I am coming from a country where I can still find some values of this patriarchy. After the communism, some things have changed in Romania, but it was still difficult for me to do some things that they were considered masculine tasks or job, like going with the car to the service or washing your car. And then I remember that I was frustrated because I wanted to do that. And not only that I wanted, I felt that I could do that. So I felt a lot in contact with my masculine side. I can do it. I want to do it. I'm strong enough. I can prove. I can drive fast or good as a man. But as much as I grow old, I'm feeling more in touch with both of the parts, the masculine and the feminine, just being. Allowing myself to be in contact more with my feminine part, to nurture, to care, is bringing me more pleasure, because otherwise I could feel that when these polarities are not aware one of each other, I feel more tired. I feel more competitive. I feel more drained. And somehow more disconnected inside. And I can see this in the way that I am a partner, in the way that I am a mother, probably sometimes also in the way that I am a therapist, especially a woman therapist. Because I believe that as women, we therapists sometimes tend to be too protective with our clients, like mothers. And I was thinking a lot about this protection and how easy it is to step in the protective role. And I admire one author, Vanita English was her name, and she talked about potency, female therapist and potency, and how important it is to step a bit from this mother role, the protective role, and step into our potency, into our power. And this is changing a lot the relationship that we have with our clients, with our partners, bringing more equality on the table.
That's interesting. I don't know her. In Brazil, we talk a lot about potency in psychology, not exclusively in Gestalt, but it's a very significant subject and concept in clinical practice, not only in Gestalt, but quite in general in psychotherapy.
Really interesting to know.
Yeah, in all sorts of social inequalities. We talk a lot about potency. How would you say you are experiencing your age in this moment in your life?
I was laughing because I have many discussions about how do I feel with the age and talking with colleagues. It happens often that I'm the youngest in the group. I'm in my 30s, and there is a paradox here regarding my age and the things that I've achieved until my age, till now. And this comes with challenges, I think. On one side, it's difficult being the youngest, and it's difficult because it's not so often that I can find people my age around me with whom I can share ideas or share common interests regarding supervision or practice in general. It's also sometimes a challenge because even if I am young in terms of age, sometimes I feel old. Sometimes I feel old in my body. Sometimes I feel old in the sense of being tired. And sometimes I had the feeling that I have run and run and run and run. And it's also, I think, the expectations regarding my age, the projections on me. I heard sometimes things like, "Oh, you are so wise. then I'm thinking I'm just 30, 34 actually. So yeah, it's really interesting, the whole subject about age. There is also the other side that I'm particularly enjoying of being my age, because I can see that there is a lot to come. I am doing often in my sessions with children or teenagers the line of life and what happened until now, until when do you plan to live? And of course, most of the times I am doing this exercise with them in the same time. And we are always surprised when we are working that, oh, I am so young, Alina. I have so many things that I could do in my life. And then I look also at my line and I said, oh yeah, I think that I am also young. So I think that there is still plenty of time for me. And this is bringing me actually a lot of joy. Because I do have, I think, some ambitions or some desires to further contribute to theories, to work, to meet new therapists, to give back what I received. So from this point of view, I feel a lot of hope. And sometimes I go down when I'm thinking of my daughter and what times she will catch and how it will be when I will be older and what is going to happen in the world. So yeah, I think age, it's a nice subject and still open for me, still pondering a lot.
What about privilege and power? How would you say that you experience in your own life privilege and power?
From one side to the other, I would say. So I can hold both sides of the privilege. It's funny that I thought a long period that I'm not so privileged by living in East Europe and by not having access to greater education or greater resources, maybe in terms of education, money, culture. And now this opinion has changed, because I am seeing that I'm actually really privileged that I'm from the European Union, moving to another European Union country. That I don't need so many regulations to be able to live where I want, to be able to hold a valid passport, to be white. And I say that because I'm in a partnership where my partner is not white. So I am seeing the difference, and we are debating how you are perceived by the race that you are having. What is happening when you enter another country or when you enter the door. So in this way, I feel highly privileged. And also because I had the freedom to choose to go to universities, to be able to study, to be able to receive funds to integrate in another country. So I think now that I'm really privileged. Also, being able to connect and to be part of two countries, because I keep Romania very close to my heart, even if I'm not living there. And regarding power, I think that becoming more tolerant in sense of cultures and in sense of discrimination and differentiations in social aspects, I also became more aware of the power that privilege is bringing to. and I'm holding power and tolerance in both hands, because I believe that sometimes we are not aware what we are doing with our power in terms of privilege. So I am playing with this in my mind, and I also bring a form of humility, because we are all citizens of the world, and I like to see things like this. And to use the power for empowerment when it's possible, and when it's not possible, to see how can I have this power for myself. Because when the world is down, like it happened with the war and with all the uncertainty that currently shifted our perspectives, then I did it more internal power to do what I needed to do every day, to do my work, to be at home the way I am. Yeah.
Now we have some questions more about Gestalt. So how did the first contact, how did you first meet Gestalt? How did it first come up in your life? How was that? What was that like?
A friend of mine, a Romanian friend, introduced me Violet Aucklander.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm coming from this side of Gestalt play therapy, and I can say that I had 3 encounters. The first one, when my friend Marilena from Romania said to me about this great book that is going to help me a lot when I work with children. And I remember that I went home and it was not translated into Romanian. I ordered the book from UK, I think, or from America, and it came in 1 month. I had to wait 1 month for her book, Windows to Our Children. And that was the first encounter, and I think one of the most precious, because after that it rolled. The second encounter was when I decided to apply for a bursary at the Violet Aucklander Institute for a workshop that was in London with John Blend. And this was my second encounter, and I really appreciated the practicality and also all the experiments and the fact that it was hands-on. We were not in the theory mood. We were more in the practical sense. John is a great singer and he likes to play with instruments and play with clay. So I really enjoyed seeing him working and engaging with us. And the third contact which stayed, so I suppose that it was the contact that made the most sense until now, was in the pandemic. Between 2015 and when Corona started in, I think, 2020, I took a break and from active engagement with Gestalt conferences and workshops, concentrating on finishing my other certification. And I felt completely depleted with energy. So when Corona started, I contacted Felicia again. And I had a feeling that that contact and the contact with Gestalt is bringing me the vitality that I am needing, the energy that I am needing. This is really meaningful for me in Gestalt.
So that's a little bit of my next question, which would be, what attracted you to Gestalt? I don't know if you could say a little bit more. It's a little bit of what you were saying.
I think that what attracted me the most was the deep contact that you can have with yourself in a way that is not cognitive.
Mm.
or not mainly cognitive. I think that in my first years after the encounter of Gestalt play therapy, I thought that this is working like magic.
Yeah, magic comes up a lot. People talk
Yeah.
about magic because it's hard to explain.
Yeah. Yeah. And then to quote Felicia Carroll, she's saying, Alina, there is no magic. This is science as well. So there is the science of awareness, of presence, of authenticity, of being in a relationship. And then I understand that, yeah, we can look at this from a cognitive way or from a science-based or informed-based approach. And still, the most important things for me are working with projections and working with all the symbolic things that we cannot see. We know that they are there, but we don't see them. And yet, if we stay there long enough, usually in this liminal space, creating in between, then we will find this magic. And Gestalt had taught me how to stay in this liminal space, how to search for these bits of myself and of the other, and to create an us and we together, here and now.
Okay. So now, in a more practical, concrete way, what is your job? What is your work? What do you do with Gestalt? How do you use it? I know you're TA. How do you expand upon Gestalt? And TA came before, so a little bit of what's the essence of what you do?
Mm-hmm. So currently, I use Gestalt in my psychotherapy work with children, teenagers, but also adults. I work in one-on-one, but also in group therapy. And I'm running workshops for specialists. And here I include therapists, social workers, educators who wants to work with young people. I enjoy a lot working with young people, and I use Gestalt play therapy in developing more skills into working with young people. And I am doing these workshops in Romania. I did it in Slovenia, in Croatia, here in the Netherlands, online. I work a lot online. And the way I am mixing Gestalt, play therapy, and TA is by doing research regarding the nurturing of the self. I'm really interested in this concept, the nurturing of the self, because I see that in many books or that many authors are leaving less space for nurturing of the self, especially in the books that I am searching for or I was reading. I'm really interested in how can we become more gentle with ourselves, more compassionate with ourselves. And I'm doing this for as a thesis for a master degree. And also it's a special project that maybe will appear in a chapter in a book or somewhere as a written part. The research of how do we nurture ourselves, and more on how do we learn children to nurture themselves, because this would save them for some therapy. So if we can do that, if we can prevent them living with these negative introjects that I'm not good enough, I'm not perfect, my body is not looking, I'm not the gender that other people are expecting, I'm not that smart or bright or whatever. I think that the world would look a bit different, more tolerant and more happy.
And how would you say the Gestalt therapy has affected you as a human being, as a person?
Oh, I would say a lot. And this a lot for me this a lot for me is connected with the word of integration, which is the goal of Gestalt therapy. And when I think of integration and I'm looking at myself, I'm looking at different parts, especially the opposites, the polarities, and the way they created a space that we can now share together without being in such a big dissonance. Because I am aware that I hold these polarities. I can be very kind, but I can also feel in contact with the aggressive part from myself. I can look really feminine sometimes, but I am feeling contact with my masculine side. Let's do it now. One more. Yeah, all the things that that now I can see, and I can't say it's one or another. It's both. I am like this and I am like that. And of course, it's depending on circumstances. Sometimes it's inner circumstances, sometimes it's outer. And I believe that this is also an effect of more inner peace, especially when things are shaking. And I'm remembering that it's okay to have many sides. It's okay to look at the things. It's okay to come with all my parts. It's okay to be who I feel that I am. It's okay to be me. So I got these permissions from Gestalt, and also the permission to be in my body, because I like to learn a lot, and I like to read, and I can commit to understand difficult theories or concepts. And yet I realize that when I do that, I am functioning from here up. And most of the time, Gestalt is bringing me down. So let's see how you feel in your body, what is happening with your legs, what is your knee trying to say to you. Yeah, I think the practical somatic experiences that Gestalt offered me are really precious, and I could not find them in other theories.
Do you feel like you are a part of a Gestalt community in any way?
I feel that I am expanding the Gestalt community. And this expansion takes maybe a bit an unusual way, or a more difficult to digest, because I feel more connected to the international community of Gestalt. And this comes with being a citizen of the world and moving across cultures, and taking all the advantage that online trainings has brought.
Yeah,
So,
I do that as well.
yeah.
All the advantage, yeah.
So I can connect, and I'm connecting with Gestalt therapists or supervisors or mentors all around the world, and you're the first from South America, so really happy to meet you. Yet sometimes I think that I'm missing the more close part of the community, like one that it's close geographically. I am aware that moving from country to country and developing a new private practice and adapting to a new culture is taking time. So I'm really looking forward to my Gestalt colleagues from Netherlands and from around, from Belgium as well, from Germany. But yeah, I feel that I'm belonging to this community. And sometimes it's about people that I know, and sometimes it's about people that I don't know, but I'm reading their books, I'm sharing their ideas. I'm enjoying their ideas. I think they are so smart, and I also enjoyed looking at the project Humans of Gestalt, and I discovered amazing people. Yeah.
We are community building in a sense. Would you say, can you remember a more challenging moment, a difficult moment in any way related to Gestalt therapy?
I think the difficult moment was finding contact or being in contact with more Gestalt therapists in Romania. There is a nice community. It's a community. Actually, I think now there are two communities, and it was more difficult back in the past for me to find concrete informations. Where can I go? How can I meet you all? How can I be engaged in workshops or conferences? And I do remember being a bit frustrated, because coming back from England, where I did the workshop with John, my first intention was to search something similar in my home country, where I would stay and work and be supported. So I went back into the big world, and I went to England again. I went to Poland. I did supervision with Felicia from America. And this moving forward by a lot of online experiences made it more difficult to experience how it is to be in a community where everyone is close and can also give a phone call and have a meeting and experience more. That was a challenge in the past. Now I think that I don't have this challenge anymore. As I'm doing the workshops in Romania, I gather more and more information about Gestalt therapists and institutes in Romania that are involved in developing Gestalt. So now I'm happy. But I do remember that it was a challenge.
What about your greatest memories? Your warmest, not necessarily your warmest, but your greatest memories of Gestalt, maybe in a more positive light.
It's nice that you said in a positive way, because first thing that came to my mind was working with clay or working in Centray. And this came to my mind first because of the impact that had upon me. I was definitely sure that at every training I would go and we would work with clay or in Centray, I would cry. So I was prepared.
I cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we cry.
Yeah. But I also remember my colleagues from all around the world. And there are some colleagues that I still talk with them, even if we never saw each other. We saw each other only once, spent 4 or 5 times together. And we had this connection. So the memories are about connecting. Either it's with deeply hidden parts of myself that come up when doing clay work or Centray, or connecting with people and this amazing thing of finding similarities with people that are really far geographically from you, and sharing ideas. And I do have one fond memory that I enjoy a lot. In the workshop with John in England, he liked to do in the last day of the workshop potluck, where everyone was bringing food and we were eating on the floor and sharing food and joking and sharing this special meal together, which usually happened in a Sunday. So yeah, I have nice memory from that potluck.
So our last question is, what's next? What do you see in the future? Maybe what you hope for the future, for yourself, for Gestalt?
For me, next is developing more and more trainings in Gestalt play therapy for psychotherapists or people who are interested to work with children and adolescents. It is my professional aim to bring further the legacy of Violet Aucklander, and not only, and to connect it with more recent theories, especially neuroscience and how these are connected. So in the future, I plan to do more workshops about this and to have also more supervision. And for myself, to find ways in which self-nurturing becomes more accessible. So I started with the research, but I believe that research is me-search. So for myself, it's this close connection with what brought me initially to Gestalt. The way we experience things, the way we experience ourselves, others, and to enhance the contact. Because the second favorite concept after the nurturing is the cycle of contact. And I'm really passionate about teaching the cycle of contact, because all the time I find new things that can be used, because people have different questions, and this is something that I did not thought about. Let's see how it fits, or let's see how the theory is becoming alive together with you, with me. And I'm really looking forward to next year and what the future is going to bring me in terms of Gestalt play therapy and connecting with more people from around the world. I think it's also my objective to teach more in a more diverse environment. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add? You would like to share? Something I didn't ask? Something that occurred to you later?
I'm thinking. Yeah, I think that I want to enhance or highlight the importance of Gestalt play therapy, because sometimes we don't talk that much about the play therapy or the work that we are doing with children. And I think this is such a gift in the Gestalt world, that Violet Aucklander could take the concepts and apply them to what means children working in small steps, having more patience, seeing things different, involving parents. Because I like a lot this idea that if a child can understand it, an adult can too. And yeah, I'm very grateful that this Gestalt play therapy is existing.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to get to know you a little bit.